And welcome to I Drink and I Know Things. The United States downs an Iranian drone. Jay and Silent Bob want to stop a blunt man and Chronic from being remade. That and more tonight. MC, what is up? I didn't hear you ranting and raving this morning. Did you have a good rant?
Oh, I had lots of good rants. And it's going to continue tomorrow morning, too, as a matter of fact. But I'll save that for another time. I'll save my next one.
Did you talk about the meth gators yet?
I did talk about the meth gator. Yes, I did bring up the meth gator. It was one of the big things, but there's a news story concerning that. Not the least of which a coyote has now crawled through the doggy door of a house in California, I think it was, and decided to eat the house's dog. So
wait, did he eat the dog and then lay in the dog's bed and try and replace the dog?
I don't know if he was trying to replace the dog, but he did go in there to get the family dog, and the family freaked out. It's a coyote, folks, and that's one of the problems with coyotes is coyotes are losing their fear of man because there's too many people running around going, "Oh, it's just a wild creature." It's a dangerous wild creature. You might want to think about that.
People, this is a public service announcement from Mad Productions. Do not give meth to the coyotes. Thank you.
Yes, and Vamp Candies had a picture on her thing where she found some moths that glow in the dark. And I figured that now we'll see. We had stories about the meth bear, people making a meth squirrel, meth gators, and now it appears to me from a picture that was shown by Vamp Candy that we now have meth moths. They're freaking taking everywhere. They even glow in the dark.
The war on drugs is not being won. The war on drugs is not being won. Even the bears have methamphetamine, people. This is an issue. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm guessing from what this conversation is about, there's two people on the stream also on meth.
MC and voice, what is wrong with you guys? Drugs are bad.
What a day! So, how is things over in the wonderful Irish land? Their voice.
The best way to put it would be send her back. Send her back.
Yeah, that's created quite the controversy, hasn't it? You know what we're talking about?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, Trump had a rally, and at the rally in North Carolina, last night, he started talking about how disgraceful Ilhan Omar was, and how un-American she was, which she is. And the crowd started chanting, "Send her back! Send her back!" This has created a firestorm in the media. There are people everywhere.
Well, didn't President Trump actually... Go ahead, voice.
No, I was just going to say, and while everybody's losing their tits over this silly fucking tweets, Trump is passing legalization to stop a lot of immigration from South America. So it just shows you the Democrats' real priorities. Instead of actually helping real people they want to help, they're going to, cry about a tweet. So priorities.
Well, no, and the thing is, I do know a little bit about what you're talking about. Didn't President Trump come out opposed to the crowd chanting that?
Well, he said that he didn't start it, and that he felt kind of embarrassed about it. He tried to move on, but hey, it is what it is. And of course, that they can take that as a disavowal of it, right? Personally, I think that that was a mistake that he made. All right, he should have just sat there and just shrugged it off, saying, "Look, I may not have started it, but the person who did it is the one who's making anti-Semitic, anti-American commentary." I mean, Omar today tried to say it's patriotic to disagree with your country and bash the country. She didn't say bash, but she did basically say that it's patriotic to rip the country. You know, this is the mindset of the left today. Shitting on America makes them, in their minds, patriotic.
I'd also like to say that, you know, it's also patriotic to, you know, cleanse your country with the blood of, you know, scumbag politicians, you know. Just,
you might want to do your notice there, Mad Dodge. Just to let you know.
Mad Dodge Productions does not necessarily endorse or support the views represented by members of the panel. Thank you very much for your understanding. YouTube, please don't ban me.
But anyway, no. The thing is Ilhan Omar says the most disturbing, the most disgraceful things. They burn frickin' American flags. All right. She walked around to people flying Somali flags, flying Palestinian flags, and so forth. Right. They don't fly American flags, and yet somehow or another, this disgrace, all right, for a congresswoman, gets all bent out of shape when people start chanting, send her back, as if, oh my God, that's beyond the pale. It's beyond the pale. But burning the American flag in front of people isn't. It amazes me where the priorities of the left is.
Boo.
Well, no, and let's move on to the major news of the day, and that is the USS Boxer downed an Iranian drone just by simply using a jamming signal. The Iranians had to actually blow ours out of the sky. We just use a jamming signal.
Well,
an Iranian drone? Don't you mean a kite?
no. The Iranians have their drone program is actually pretty impressive for a nation its size. Do not think that they're like the rest of them.
MC, did America sell it to them?
No, America didn't sell it to them. But you got to remember, the Iranians are one of 11 countries that have placed a satellite in orbit.
Okay, you were MC. You were getting ready to say that we didn't use just a simple jamming signal. Well, then what did we do?
We use basically a directed energy weapon. And it's not the kind of directed energy weapon that people think of like Star Trek or anything, but we do have directed energy weapons. We do have directed EMP weapons where we can send an EMP pulse in a specific direction. Its range is not great, but we can do it, and I suspect that that's what they utilized. You can also take down these things with directed microwaves.
Well, now we know what happens to Mad Dodge's internet every now and again. MC.
well, no. Fox News reported that they used a jamming signal, but that's probably a blanket term, right? So I'm kind of agreeing with you. They probably did use because they have those little handheld things, right? They direct it in the direction there and it'll jam a narrow band of area, right?
Those handheld ones, yeah.
Doesn't like raspberry jam, so you know.
Oh no, I'm doing to my annoying neighbours.
The jar of jams about to be jammed. Another Spaceball reference. I love it. But no, if you use a wideband microwave emitter, you can basically try a lot of electronics and a lot of electrical systems because they'll develop. It's just like hitting it with an EMP. It'll create an electrical surge in the system.
Do you think the United States Navy recovered their drone for research purposes?
That's a good question. Possibly, quite possibly. Depends on where the drone went down. Now, you got to also remember the Iranians have seized a United Arab Emirates ship, or tanker, claiming that it was It was illicit oil that they were smuggling oil.
Yeah, I have to step away for just a sec, but I can still hear you guys. But all right. MC, this is gonna up the ante in that area of the world. What's gonna be the final straw?
Well, the final straw, what's going to eventually happen, whether anyone wants to admit this or not, is eventually the Iranians are going to either blow up a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, or most likely try to flat out attack either a U.S. ship or a British warship using a swarming technique with their small boats with Revolutionary Guards. Basically come in with 10, 15 boats all at once and try and swarm the warship. Okay. Eventually that's what the result is going to be. And the main reason that's going to happen is because the Iranians are now in a no-win situation. They have no real friends. This entire idea from people like Styx that the Iranians are a client state of the Russians, it's just silly. The Iranians may not have as adversarial a relationship with the Russians, all right, as they do with most of the other countries in the region. But that doesn't mean that the Russians are their allies, or that the Russians would try to protect them in any way, shape, or form. They're not. They're not on those kind of friendly terms.
It's
Okay?
more that they can coexist with each other without coming to blows.
Well, yeah, exactly. Okay, and there were areas where they were helping each other in Syria. All right, for example, both of them were working to keep, to prop up Bashir Assad. All right, that's all true, but that's the extent of their mutual understanding with one another. The Iranians, the Russians are not going to go out of their way to help the Iranians. They're just not. I mean, that's just the way it is. So, and what has happened lately, of course, is from Yorkie's standpoint, is the British are activating and sending another warship in the region.
Yeah, that's something that's kind of a wild card here. The Royal Navy, they kind of have a wild hair up their ass. Are they gonna kick this shit off?
I hope so.
It'll be the Iranians that kick it off. The Iranians will go on the attack. It won't be the British sailing into a port, just unannounced, going, we've had enough of you idiots, and just start blowing shit up. Unless, of course, they get attacked. And the Iranians have come close. The Iranians did act aggressively recently toward a British warship, like they were going to try and take it. Now they backed off, but I honestly think that the Iranians at some point they're gonna go full bore. They're gonna go for it.
I kind of get the feeling a couple of fucking boats with spears or AKs. I don't think they're really going to be able to take on a British warship.
Well, if they swarm it with 40 fast boats, though, it's a possibility they could at least hit it and do damage. Especially if what their intent is basically kind of like suicide runs.
Okay, so are the Iranians thinking, all right, we have the United States here. We really don't want to fuck with them. But the British are pretty weak right now. Why not? Is that their thinking, in your opinion?
No, I think that they're thinking that the British don't exist without the United States anyway. So to them, there's no difference attacking a British ship versus an American ship.
That's a little, well, I'm sure the British wouldn't appreciate that fucking thought process, right?
No, I don't think that they do either, but that's most likely the process, because that's how everybody approaches this shit. The United States is the only one that's in the region. The United States is the only one that exists. It's always the United States are doing all the bad things around the world. That's how you hear about it from the rest of the world. That's how the rest of the world sees it, right?
Yeah, no, I get your point here. I don't necessarily think the British Navy is something Iran really understands. I don't think they understand what they're getting themselves into if they attack.
I don't think that they care. I think what they're probably going to do is keep doing what they're doing, this little stuff, until probably next year. At which point, sometime about this time next year, they will try to provoke a war. They will literally go out there to try and provoke a war in an effort to get the United States to take drastic military action. And they're going to do it because they're going to believe that a U.S. strike will harm President Trump, right's re-election.
Yeah, but the Democrats want to attack Iran even more than President Trump at this point. If Hillary would have won office, I think we'd be at war with North Korea right now.
I don't know if we'd be at war with North Korea, but we definitely would have. We'd be in a lot different situation with Syria right now. I can tell you that. That whole thing would be a mess. That whole thing would be a nightmare right now. You know, I mean, yeah. She wasn't. She was a horrible Secretary of State. She has no. What positive outcome can you attribute to anything that she's done for the world from the American State Department? You know what
you already know the answer. You already know the answer is nothing. So,
well, I don't know of anything. That doesn't mean that I'm not missing something. You got to remember, I'm a partisan freaking right-wing hack, according to these people. Why would I say something like that? You know. So I'm willing to listen, though. I really am willing to listen. If I've missed something that was positive that Hillary Clinton did as the Secretary of State, I'm more than willing to listen. About the only achievements that I've ever saw from her in any kind of way, shape, or form are one, the Arab Spring. We all saw how that turned out. All right. You end up with the selling the uranium, which wasn't her necessarily ideal, but she didn't try to block it or anything like that to stop it. And then, of course, her big one notable thing that everybody remembers, all right, well, the two things that everybody remembers is, one, Benghazi, and two, when she walked to the Soviets with that stupid freaking Staples button and hit it going, that was easy, in her great grand reset with the Russians.
Oh, that was so ridiculous. God.
Other than that, you know, she would have been useless, right? So, I mean, what are the Iranians going to do? The Iranians are going to keep doing things until they go too far because they don't think anyone else is going to rein them in. There's too many people running around, right, that are Neville Chamberlains. Peace in our time. Peace in our time.
Yeah. Peace in our time. Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, there are other events that are happening in the Middle East. I mean, you have, for example, let me put this in the side chat.
But all right, when it comes to Iran, really, I don't know. I think you're right. It'll probably end up being around next year, around the election. I don't know why they really care, though, about the election. Really, it doesn't affect any of the Obama. Well, he was weaker on Iran, I guess.
Weaker on Iran? Weaker on Iran. You mean to say he was a collaborator with the Iranians? The man gave him how many billions of dollars on a pallet after they grabbed and abused our 12 of our sailors? Weaker on Iran?
Yeah, you know, there is the Contra thing that happened during a Republican administration. You might remember it.
What about the Iranian Contra thing?
Didn't Reagan hand over weapons?
There was something that came along those lines, but really it had more to do with the fact that he was trying to fund the Contras. There's a reason why it's called the Iranian Contra scheme.
But
who were the Contras? Okay, let me explain to you what this was all about. Okay, because there were several things that were going on simultaneously, right, with the Iranian Contra scandal. All right, the U.S. House and Senate had passed legislation saying that the president can't spend any money or any kind of do anything monetarily to help the Contras overthrow the Sandinistas, all right, that were down in Nicaragua. Daniel Ortega's little Marxist revolution that he had going on down there, right? And in fact, U.S. congressmen at the time that were going down to praise Daniel Ortega and his murderous band of thugs, of course, included one Bernie Sanders, but we'll ignore that for the moment. All right, so the Reagan administration came up with a way to bypass those rules. Now, how do you do it? Well, what you do is you sell the weapons to the Israelis. The Israelis then sell the weapons to somebody else. In this case, they were like, well, why don't we get a twofer here and sell them and try and see if we can get hostages released with these weapons to quote unquote moderate Iranians. And then that money, instead of going to the United States, will be, because the Israelis sold it to them, will go down to the Contras. So basically, what we did is we gave weapons to Israel, who sold them to the Iranians to get hostages that they then sent that money instead of the United States to fund the Contras fighting the Sandinistas in Nicaragua.
yeah, that's entirely convoluted and illegal.
Illegal? Debatable. Let's put it that way. Is it skirting the legality of the issue? Is it breaking the spirit of the legislation? Yeah, it was breaking the spirit of the legislation for sure. But from a legality standpoint, you're dancing in the head of a pin, right? I mean, he didn't sell the weapons to the Contras. He didn't directly fund the Contras. Not exactly.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I like Reagan's rhetoric. I do like that. But
I mean,
damn.
Was it illegal? It was skirting the legality. There's no doubt about that. You could make a pretty damn good case of what he was doing was illegal. But at the same time, you can also say that he was just basically using what was available to him. Did it make everybody mad as hell? Yes.
Why didn't an impeachment hearing come?
Well, why? I mean, Reagan was on his way out. Who are you going to impeach?
Fair enough. That's a good point. That was towards the end. You're right.
Mm-hmm. So he goes out. George Bush wins basically Reagan's third term, more or less. Right? No, George Bush was not. George Bush Sr. was not Reagan by no stretch of imagination. And of course, he ends up, if I'm not mistaken, pardoning Caspar Weinberger, who basically they were trying to, convict and send to jail. Not that would have done them any good anyway, because Caspar Weinberger had a serious form of cancer and died just right after that anyway.
All right. So you said you had some more news you want to talk about before we get to the Jay and Silent Bob thing. So go ahead, bring something up.
So which one do you want to bring up? Do you want to bring up liberals cheer as Antifa violence escalates? The New York Post actually...
Wait, real quick. We got a super chat from Pnoid News. $5. My weekly tithing to the charity for Mad's Too Many Kids in a Shoe Fund. Thank you, Pnoid. My 14-year-old's laughing in the bedroom. He appreciates it. Go ahead, MC. You pick one.
Oh, you want me to pick one? Okay, I'll pick this one. Judge denies Jeffrey Epstein's bail in child sex trafficking case, citing flight risk and potential danger to the public. A federal judge has denied bail to wealthy investor Jeffrey Epstein, who has been locked up since his arrest nearly 2 weeks ago on child sex trafficking charges. Epstein will not remain in jail pending his trial. or it says will not, but I think it's supposed to say will now. Is what they meant to say. Epstein, 66, was asking the judge to release him on a bond as high as $100 million or more, with conditions that it would include requiring him to remain in New York, in his New York City mansion, round-the-clock security monitoring, and electronic trafficking device. Epstein, a former friend of President Donald Trump and Bill Clinton, was arrested on July 6th after a federal grand jury indicted him on sex trafficking and one count of conspiring to commit sex trafficking.
Is his cellmate gonna be fucking R. Kelly?
That's a good question. But one of the things that I find amusing is he said that he would take $100 million bond. The guy admitted that he had $56 million in cash on hand.
Whoa, like motherfucker, the walls are hollow, right? You put that shit in the wall like a coke dealer, like Pinoid up in that bitch, just throwing the money in the wall.
I mean, when you say you've got $56 million in cash on hand, I'll be honest with you. I don't know all the evidence that they have against this guy. I'm sure it's pretty extensive. But I'll say this: the judge is right about thinking that he's a flight risk. When you've got $56 million of cash on hand, and bond is you only have to put up 10% for bond, right?
Yeah.
So I mean. It's like, I got to put it $10 million. I'll still have $46 million after I jump to Brazil.
Hell, fuck that. Go hang out with John McAfee. He's out in the Caribbean.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to work out too well for John McAfee, to be honest. You haven't heard from John McAfee in a while, have you?
No, and I follow him on Twitter. I haven't seen anything. He might have got black bagged.
Either that or he's freaking blackout drunk on his freaking yacht somewhere and still hasn't woken up for the freaking 2-week bender he's been on, right?
Oh my, yeah, no, and he was like, in 2016, he was talking about how he's sober and this and that, and now he's fucking, yeah, when he falls off the wagon, he falls hard, right? Like, damn, homie.
Kind of like Bender from Futurama.
But no, the dude is definitely a flight risk, and he's a sick son of a bitch. And I hope him and both R. Kelly get what they fucking deserve, like child trafficking and sex trafficking and shit. The fuck's wrong with you?
Just moved out the way.
No, it's not about the pee, Dave.
What the hell was that?
If she want to get peed on, she just move out the way.
No, the R. Kelly peeing on a fan.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Oh, thanks. I really needed that to be brought back up again. I think everybody was looking forward to that commentary. Yeah, no, but he just got recently rearrested too, didn't he? R. Kelly. I think.
I believe 56 counts of sex trafficking.
56? Oh, so basically he's in a race here with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, they're neck and neck.
Basically, it's like each one of them, trading hands and going, hold my beer, right?
Well, no, and it's weird because they're saying he had this weird cult and shit. Like, what the fuck are you doing, R. Kelly? Like, dude. God damn. Like, you really lost your cotton picking mind, didn't you? Oh, I'm sorry, YouTube.
So Candid was basically flashing her degree. She got her degree now from the University of Louisville. She picked it up. She was putting it online.
Oh, officially, then congratulations once again, Candid.
Yep.
You're
Well
my
done.
favorite
Oh, the
Rub it
lawyer.
in Mad Dodge's face and say, ha ha ha, I got a degree. What do you have?
lawyer.
I need a good defense attorney.
Yeah, no, and tell me as soon as you pass the bar, Candid, I'll be sending my dollar retainer just in case.
What are you going to do? Hand her a kid?
Well, you know, lawyers have no souls, so they want to buy yours.
So you figure you got 6 chances to get it right. Is that what you're saying?
What does that mean?
But yeah, no, these people are really going fucking out of their minds. A little bit of fame and suddenly you're sex trafficking. What the fuck? At least Charlie Sheen only got AIDS. I mean, fuck.
Damn, that's bad. At least Charlie Sheen only got AIDS? Holy cow, dude.
Wait, didn't he get accused of something a while back? I swear he got accused of like sexual assault or something.
Oh, speaking of getting accused of sexual assault, I think you're right, though. But did you hear about Kevin Spacey?
What's he done now?
Another one?
No, they dropped all the charges on Kevin Spacey. The prosecutor came out and dropped everything. He is free and clear now. So he basically escaped all the accusations. Now, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't sure that they were going to be able to prosecute him anyway, because I was always wondering what the evidence is, and every time you turn around, you know, they were bashing the evidence, right? So
yeah, well, no, and real quick though, Kevin Spacey lost his high-paying job doing House of Cards over those charges. There's a lawsuit coming, isn't there?
for what? You got to remember, if he
Slander,
plays,
right?
well, if he
slander is if it costs you monetarily, or in the public eye, which both of those would apply to the charges Kevin Spacey received from the accuser, which are now
just because they dropped the charges.
unsubstantiated.
You got to remember, they dropped the charges. That doesn't mean that he was found innocent.
Oh, so he might not. His lawyer might be like, "Dude, just walk away from this."
Well, yeah,
Leave it alone.
because he obviously had a relationship with the kid, one way or another, no matter how you look at it. And he was underaged in a bar.
I like how his defense as well. It was literally just him coming out of the closet. And I remember that because I remember I was watching a Sinatra Says live stream. Someone asked him who his favorite actor was. He said Kevin Spacey, and he really likes House of Cards. Then, like a week later, that's when the whole thing came out. Then he's on stream just screaming, "My favorite actor's a pedophile."
It's amazing how fast somebody's entertainment value can drop when they're outed as a reprobate.
Yep.
It doesn't always happen, but it happens a lot. If you get you get outed as a reprobate in certain regards, you know, your entertainment value goes bye-bye.
Yep. And
that's something that actors and actresses, really entertainers of all stripes, you know, you guys, even like an athlete, right? Your entertainment value, all right, is you're selling yourself. You're selling yourself as an entertainer. You're selling yourself as entertainment. And your entertainment value can drop if you engage in activities so that socially is unacceptable. This is one of the reasons why, let's be perfectly frank, does anybody follow Miley Cyrus anymore? I mean, for the longest time, Miley Cyrus was the you know the hero that all the young kids and everybody wanted to do. Now, I'll be honest with you, if you hear her name, it's because she's trying to do something outlandish, and you just look upon it as if she's, you know, just doing it for attention. She's no different than
To be honest, that's how I look at like 99% of celebrities anyway.
Well, to a point, because there's one of the things that they worry about is becoming has-beens. I think that it bothers them when everybody knows their name. They get so used to it, and then when people don't know who they are and don't care who they are, it's such a crush to their ego that they have a bad time dealing with it.
Yeah,
that's how I see it. Now, I'm obviously not a psychiatrist or psychologist.
I mean, you're not wrong, really. The evidence speaks for itself.
Well,
That's what most washed-up celebrities do. They'll try and do anything to stay relevant and known.
right, and in the news, where the whole thing of all what do you call it? Notoriety. What do we call it?
Yeah, all bad publicity. No,
Yeah, any publicity is
good.
good publicity. All publicity is good publicity, even bad publicity. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there's some truth to that, but there's a correlation to that too. That eventually comes back to bite these people, and I think it definitely came back to bite her.
Yeah, and eventually all the celebrities end up just turning into Florida Man.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of those things happening. So.
Yeah. The only one I can think of who perhaps didn't change so much, but more became open was I think Mel Gibson. That's just because he was a fucking blatant racist from the very start. It's more like he's actually just opening his mouth.
Yeah, I think that's true to a large extent. I think that one thing that people don't realize is there's within the celebrity culture itself, there's a lot more bigotry and racism than people realize.
Yeah.
I think it would shock people to realize just how bigoted and how racist many of the celebrities are toward each other, and they know each other, and they're Fred and they're Joan Cleaver from the movies, and that's who they think that they are. But that's they're actors and actresses. You don't really know who they are personally. Just because they're on an interview and they're all smiley and bubbly, or they're all happy, or they're all suave and debonair, that's not who necessarily they really are. And we tend to forget that. That some of these people are just regular human beings, but some of them are really bad people. There's the people that are the average Joe, right? That most people don't realize even how they portray themselves. Like Jimmy Stewart was known as one of those people who's just an average Joe. Even what's his name? Humphrey Bogart. He was really just an average Joe. He was just an average. He wasn't a tough guy that he portrayed on television, on the big screen, right? He was just an average guy. But there's some real jerks involved in there too, right? Clark Gable, from what I understood, was a real monster, right? I mean, there are a number of people that are real jerks when people think that they're all these wonderful people. In reality, they're horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it's the Hollywood culture, but I think a lot of it is some of these people are just regular guys, and some of these people, they're really monsters, and you just don't know who they are. For crying out loud! I mean, the worst part of it that I can see though is this whole thing with Harvey Weinstein. It's like everybody knew who Harvey Weinstein was. Everybody knew that he was running casting couch, and no one cared.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
It might not be so much that they didn't care. It's more they just didn't want to commit suicide.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, how many people sought him out? All right, and were willing to do things for him just so they could get their chance and their 15 minutes of fame to see if they could get, become the next big it.
Well, quite a few. Well, yeah, I imagine quite a few people with that much influence he had.
You know, I mean, for crying out loud, even to this day, Meryl Streep still won't really say anything bad about him because she was quote unquote friendly with him.
Yeah. Although I wonder how many of those people that slept with Harvey were unwilling.
It's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I meant by the quote unquote suicide thing. People who knew about that. They don't want to go out Clinton style.
Yeah, no, well, with Bill Clinton, there's a lot of things I could say about that, but I'll save that for tomorrow's stream in the morning. So, I mean, it is what it is. All right, we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out. I mean, one of the things that I think was interesting was listening to there is a pundit, political pundit named Tammy Bruce. And Tammy Bruce is a lesbian, former president of the National Organization of Women in chapter in Los Angeles, right? And she woke up one day and realized just how disgraceful they had been, all right, to several people. And she did it during the second term of Bill Clinton, all right, when he was running against Bob Dole. And she had participated basically in a character assassination of Bob Dole. And that's when she realized we are way over the top with this. We're going too far. We're doing a character assassination on somebody that's a good man just so we can character assassinate him for political purposes, right? Mm-hmm. And so she started, she's an unabashed, lesbian. She's married to her, paramour. I don't know what it is. She disagrees. She's not what you would call a conservative, the way people think of it. Think of traditional conservatives. Yeah. All right, but she basically will take anybody on and everybody on. All right, about the viewpoints and what they were like, and it's quite eye opening. And it comes on the heels. She's one of the few that woke up during that time frame to understand just what had been happening to the country and in the United States, at least. And a lot of it wasn't good. So now we haven't gotten as bad as Great Britain yet. We're not putting journalists in jail because they dared to sit up there and accuse a Muslim rape gang of being Muslim rape gangs. But
yeah,
I figure it's only a matter of time. Anyway, go on. What'd you say?
Oh, no, I'm saying, you can't talk about that. That's hate speech.
Is that banned in Britain now still? By the way, what would happen? What would happen if I had done a YouTube video, all right, outing all of this when it's supposed to be, they have one of those gag orders that they have, and then I flew to Great Britain. Could I be arrested for that?
I guess it depends. Like, you mean if you made a YouTube video, then it depends on how many views it got and how well on the radar you are. If it went viral and you got millions of views, they'd probably. I don't really think they could arrest or jail you. It's pretty close to sending you back to America. Because obviously, you're not a British citizen.
Basically, not allow me in the country.
Possibly. You'd have to be really on their radar for that to happen, though.
Well, right. Obviously that isn't.
Yeah, but they wouldn't even notice when you did all that stuff unless you were actually outside the courts. Showing recording all the Muslim rapists. Then they'd probably see it as was it harassment or what's it called where they tried to what was it they got Tommy with? Breaching. What was it? Basically, putting that trial and court and shit in jeopardy.
Right.
Can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what it's called either.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. But Mad Dog, you wanted to talk about Jay and Silent Bob? Looks like bad.
Yeah, here in a second. Do you have one more story you want to talk about?
I'll let you pick one. Do you want to do the Puerto Rican being under siege, or do you want to go with mother-daughter accused of cutting a baby from a teen mom's belly facing another murder charge?
What was that? Puerto Rican what being raided?
What? Say that again. I for some reason
I didn't hear what you said. Something about a Puerto Rican something being raided.
Well, yeah. Right now, what's happening is there's riots in Puerto Rico.
Huh.
There's violent riots over the governor because they're people are upset and they want him to resign. The Puerto Ricans are very upset because he's been accused of all sorts of corruption and crime, and so Trump made a tweet. It said Trump's tweets. President Trump weighed in for the first time on the protests in Puerto Rico, where thousands have called on Governor Ricardo Roselio to resign. Trump's tweets come as unrest on the island grew more violent Wednesday night when police fired tear gas on those marching in San Juan. The president tweeted that the people of Puerto Rico are great, but much of their leadership is corrupt, a charge he has made before. He noted that Roselio is under siege, and as he has before, lambasted San Juan's mayor, Carmen Yulin Cruz, saying she's a despicable and incompetent person who I wouldn't trust under any circumstances. The mayor has made clear in recent days that she is on the side of the protesters, and she was also among the targets of the profanity-filled secret Telegram chat group that included the governor and other top officials that helped spark the protests.
Yeah. So how bad were the riots?
It's to be honest, there are a few thousand people marching in the streets. They are throwing stuff back and forth. It's not at Antifa level yet, as far as I'm concerned, but they're getting close. They have been throwing, choosing weapons, all right, such as Molotov cocktails and other explosives, causing injury and impacting the officers of the Puerto Rican police. So, yeah, they're getting up there.
Hmm. Actually, speaking, remind me, when's the Area 51 raid meant to happen? 'Cause I really hope someone live streams that.
They are. That's in September. That's September 20th
right.
is what that's scheduled for, and I don't think that's going to happen. Well, first of all, there won't be any live stream of it.
Oh.
And the reason I say that is if you try to go into Area 51, okay, with anything in there, they're going to use a denial weapon. They're basically going to jam anything that can transmit out of there. Okay, so you're not going to have a live feed of the great Area 51 massacre. It's not going to be showed live. I'm sorry.
That would basically make the Christchurch shooting look tame.
Well, I'm not sure how it would break out. I don't know if people would be laughing or if people would be crying, if people would be upset, if people would be cheering. You look at this and it's like there's people who want to do it just to see it all burn. There's people trying to encourage these fools to actually try and do something like that.
Meanwhile, I'll just be sat there eating popcorn, watching it.
Yeah, I've tried to explain. Look, anybody who doesn't understand this, Area 51 is desert for miles and miles and miles. Okay, so this idea that you're going to run and storm the base and run onto the base, no, You're not. Okay, you're just not.
I think what's going to happen is either there's going to be thousands of people there, but only like a couple hundred actually get near the base because everyone else has either died or gave up because it's a big fucking desert, or they're all going to try and use cars.
Okay, now that using cars would sound like a good idea, but there's not a lot of roads into there, and Groom Lake sits kind of in a valley surrounded by mountains, so you're not going to go off road. So you only have a limited number of places where those cars are going to be able to drive.
Well, Well, if you can get a car that's off road, but yeah, I doubt there's going to be enough to transport all several thousand of them.
Yeah, so it's just, I mean, from what I can see, is there's going to be a lot of dead people just dying from exposure, dehydration, and exposure. If they actually try to go through with this.
No, Area 51's right off the highway. It's a clearly marked road. You can go out there. But
no, you can't, man, Dodge.
You can. They follow you in or whatever. I've seen many videos of people going out.
The area that you're talking about is when you've already passed through several different areas. There's several different choke points. Groom Lake is a dried lake bed because it has mountains all around it, and they have claimed, meaning the military has claimed, that not just the mountains that overlook the base, but the mountains that overlook the mountains that overlook the base. Well, they've got all those ridges locked down. You're not just going to go hopping and skipping and doing a Naruto run right out of the base. It's not going to happen.
To that, I really want to see just thousands of fucking weebs just Naruto running through a minefield.
A group of freaking Vulcans opening up on them. We had a general, by the way. Many of you guys may not remember this. During the first Gulf War, one of the generals, I don't think it was Schwarzenegger, or not Schwarzenegger, but Schwarzkopf. I don't think it was Schwarzkopf. I think it was one of his deputies. They asked him, what are they going to do if there's this mass charge of soldiers at them? Because the Iraqis were supposed to have all these millions of soldiers to run at them. And he goes, well, you just put the Vulcans and you lay them down, and then you just open up. He said they're a great freaking great thing for clearing mass waves of humans, right? And of course, a Vulcan system uses 20 millimeter cannon rounds, which technically is against the Geneva Convention. Of course, the 50 cal technically shooting a human is against the Geneva Convention, and the way they get around it, and say, as I wasn't actually aiming for him, I was trying to get his web gear. I was trying to get his equipment. See, it's okay to use it against the equipment, just not on the human being behind the equipment.
Yeah. Because just aiming for his chest plate.
Well, I was just aiming for the canteen. I was going for his canteen and I missed. It was just a little off to the side.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. They're not going to get the whole entire Facebook group of like 400 and something thousand people out there to bum rush Area 51. There's not that many stupid people in America. Well,
how many people voted for Hillary Clinton? Say that again. Say that again. Go ahead.
Yeah, ain't that like nearly the same population as the entire population of the UK?
That's true. 60 million people voted for Hillary Clinton. There's 60 million people in the UK.
Well, it's about 64 or 65, but it is very close.
So a few 100,000? There's not that many dumb people in America? No, there is, Mad Dogs. There truly is.
Are they really dumb enough? Area 51. I mean, come on.
I think, I'll be honest with you, I honestly believe that there will be tens of thousands of people that gather in their little meetup, in the little meetup point that they talked about. I think it's very possible that close to 10,000 people show up, that thousands of people show up there. And then when they start realizing, I don't have water, I don't have any kind of a way of dealing with the fact that I'm in a desert, then you'll see most of it disperse, and maybe a couple hundred will attempt to do something. But I do believe the initial gathering will be a few thousand.
Yeah, I'd say a few thousand, but not tens of thousands. But
I just don't think there's enough space for them to survive.
Yeah, but it's not so much that. Well, yeah, they are stupid, but I think it's more of a case of they're too lazy, to go there.
I honestly think that if you had if you had a group of committed people that are truly committed to it, right, and had the wherewithal to do the logistics thing, you could create something like that, like they do with Burning Man. But yeah. Burning Man is such a logistics nightmare, all right, that that's why this last Burning Man they think may be the last one, because the logistics of it are just getting to the point where it's out of control.
Yep.
And what is it? I mean, how many people show up at Burning Man every year? 50,000?
What's the Burning Man?
Oh, it's
a giant festival out in the middle of the desert. Yeah, I think about 50 to 100,000 people. It's a lot.
Let me look it up real quick. Number of people to Burning Man. It's close to in 2010 they estimate 51,000 people, and then this last one they're thinking around 70,000.
Yeah, 50 to 100,000, like I said. Yeah.
So, yeah, they could get those numbers, but the logistics behind that is just it's phenomenal. The logistics that you have to put into that, and the people that are going to Burning Man, all right, basically only go there and leave the next day, or the ones that truly want to go there for a camp out. Now they're just talking about just doing a one-day storming thing. I don't think that they logistically they've created the kind of mentality it's going to take to actually really do a storming of that base.
Mm-hmm.
I also would warn them that because one of the things the military will do is the military will be watching to see how many people start to congregate in that area. And as more people go, if it's more than they think, they will have assets on call that they'll start flying in very quickly.
Yeah. I imagine they'll get a few armored. I can imagine they'd probably get a few. What was it called? Bradley combat vehicles. Just pretty much put them in front of the base.
Oh yeah, they'll do that. They'll also start deploying actual,
Aircraft.
Not aircraft, but actual ground troops. They'll put a few thousand ground troops on there.
Well, no, and the military has every right to defend themselves. And if you're trying to storm their base, well, you become the enemy.
Yeah.
And one thing which with the amount of people there, one of them is definitely going to do this. And if they do,
there will be
violent.
There will be idiots that try to take it. That do try to push it. There will be people that do it. You are
Someone's
correct.
going to start waving a fucking hunting rifle around or some shit.
I don't think that anyone's going to go there with a hunting rifle, unless they're absolute morons. If you display a weapon, if they go there and they display a weapon, all bets are off, folks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and this is it.
With the amount of people that could be going, there is bound to be at least 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, this isn't the Bundy Ranch standoff. This isn't a militia group coming out to defend somebody. This is you being the aggressor and trying to storm a military base, brandishing a weapon. That is asking, hey, please blow my head off. Pretty please.
Yeah, you're looking at a very, very possible response, because all it would take at that point is for a person who's brandishing the weapon to be lowering the weapon, but do it in a manner that looked threatening, like they were drawing down on somebody, and all of a sudden the bullets will start flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and that's nobody wants that. If you end up listening to this and you're one of the people that want to go out there, please know you're not standing for anything. This is stupid. It's a military base. Stay off of it.
Also, without how heavily guarded it is, because MC said that even the fucking mountains have guards. They are obviously. I'm not saying it's aliens. That's stupid, but they definitely have some really fucking secret technology there.
Oh yeah,
some secrets. Not. I doubt it's actually aliens or anything, but I'm guessing they have quite a few weapon testing shit going on.
Okay, first of all, things that are unclassified, right? That we know about, right? That have been declassified. One, we know that the U-2 was built and flown out of there. We know that the SR-71 was built and flown out of there. Okay, we know that they have tested some of the Department of Energy weapon systems for high-powered weapon systems have come out of there. For example, I think much of the rail gun technology was probably first tested in those areas. All right. I guarantee you, high-powered laser systems have been tested in those areas.
That reminds me, actually, when my dad was in the army back in, this has been like very late 80s or early 90s, he said that he saw a British warship and it had something that looks almost identical to a railgun. So they probably had, at least basic prototypes back then.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm positive of that. They've been doing these testings for a long time. The thing about what they're looking for testing in order to put a weapon like a railgun onto a ship is they want reliability from that thing. Okay, they don't want to just fire once and then they have to wait around or they try and fix everything, 10, 15 minutes to try and fire it again. No, they want to have something that will basically go thum, thum, thum.
Yeah. From what I've heard of them, it's more of a power usage that's more of an issue. Because basically you'd need an absolute shitload of any power to do it. So practically the only way you could have one is if it's basically next to a fucking power plant.
Well, it isn't just the power plant. The problem is building up the discharge rates, the amount of power that they're throwing for the discharge.
That's what I meant. Like the only time it could be used practically is if it's right next to a power plant.
Well, right, to replenish the capacitors fast enough. That's the issue. It's not that they couldn't build it. It's not like people can build railguns. There's people on YouTube that are showing them building, rudimentary railguns. Ones that get out of the backs of cars, right? And you see them with those.
They're functional, but they're not practical,
right,
for the field.
Right.
Yeah.
Now there are things you could do that may or may not make it more practical. I'm not going to go into that right now, but there are other things. So there's one more story that I want to talk about since we're talking about Weibo stuff. Are you ready, Mad Dodge?
Yeah, go ahead.
There are 30 people that were killed in a fire in Kyoto. One of the big anime studios. A man went in, all right, with accelerant and lit it on fire, telling people you will die, and at least 30 people are dead, possibly 50 injured.
Animation.
Yeah, an animation studio. Sorry, that was my buddy Dave asking. Yeah, did they give any motive? Was he like one of the crazies from the United States that put out a manifesto?
They did. All that they said is that they had been getting death threats before, but they couldn't confirm that what this guy was or what his reasoning is. They did. The only thing that they admitted is that they had been receiving death threats. That the studio had been receiving death threats.
Well, this is dark, but now I can just imagine a load of people, Naruto, running out of a burning building on fire.
It was a preemptive strike by the U.S. Air Force. We'll stop the Naruto run right now. We'll get it at the source.
And a Apache helicopter just comes down to gun down the survivors.
But no, all jokes aside, I don't necessarily like anime, but damn, Japan is fairly high on gun control, right?
Yeah, I think you need a fucking firearm license just for a fucking pellet gun. I think the other things that are allowed are pellet guns and shotguns, I think.
I don't even think they can have shotguns. I honestly don't think they can even have shotguns. They're very, very much a no gun zone. All of Japan.
But that doesn't stop you from buying a gas can full of gas, and how does it? So I think this goes to show once again that gun control does not equal violence control, right?
Yeah.
No, that's very, very true. That's very, very, very true. Unfortunately,
look at the rate of stabbings in Britain. Yeah, they're practically tripled ever since they brought in the handgun ban.
Yeah, no, and I'm not trying to push my own agenda here. It may sound like that, but it is the truth. Just because you take one tool out of the toolbox doesn't mean you don't have 10 others.
Yeah. The only way to stop people from improvising weapons, whether it's nail bombs or petrol bombs or just anything, you basically have to lobotomize every single fucking person.
Well, there's some people that definitely need it. Officials say that a semi-truck driver who was watching pornography on his phone moments before he rear-ended a pickup truck and trailer in Rogers, Minnesota, causing the trailer to break off and fatally strike a nearby construction worker. According to the criminal complaint, Tate Ryan Doom of St. Paul was driving a semi-truck in a construction zone on Interstate 94 when he rear-ended a pickup truck and trailer. The impact caused the pickup truck and the trailer to lose control and strike a parked car. The trailer then separated from the pickup truck and struck a member of the engineering crew on scene. The victim was found underneath the wreckage of the trailer and had sustained serious injuries to his head and torso, and he died at the scene. Look, folks, don't be watching porn while you're driving. Okay, I mean, God.
Oh yeah, quick thing about the that anime fire thing. Aiton Jack said what the guy was claiming was that company basically stole his manga and anime stories. So basically, stole his intellectual.
So it was a disgruntled artist?
From sounds of it, yeah.
Felt
I guess it makes more sense than just I hate weebs. Yeah, it makes more sense than just I hate weebs.
Yeah. It was more like I hate you weebs.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be laughing about it because it's a sad state. I mean, Kyoto's. What is the Kyoto Studios is what it was, right? Kyoto. What was the name of the studio that got hit?
I think you said Kyoto or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty well known, right?
I wouldn't know. I don't like anime, but
Kyoto Animation Fire, yeah. So, I don't know all the different artists. It's too bad Woolshot. I bet Woolshot knows all about this. She's a huge anime. She's a bigger anime fan than I am.
But speaking of movies, here we go. Jay and Silent Bob. The sequel is going to be Jay and Silent Bob trying to stop the reboot of Blunt Man and Chronic. And for anybody who is on the internet like we are, reboots are the bane of our fucking existence. So this is a great premise, and Kevin Smith is a goddamn genius. And Dave, if you want to talk, you're gonna have to come closer to the mic, dude. But I know you're not necessarily a Jay and Silent Bob fan, MC, but the premise itself is pretty good, right?
Yes, because he's destroying the reboot concept. Like his voicing his hatred, his distaste.
Yeah, well, like if you heard Dave, like he said. Yeah. Go ahead.
To be fair, from what I've heard, it's can't be any worse from what I've heard about the fucking Prometheus. The fucking prequel for Alien.
Well, that's two different. We're talking comedy and sci-fi.
Oh, no, I mean, like reboots or prequels in general.
But what do you think, MC? Do you think it'll be a good premise? Do you think Kevin Smith is on something here, or do you think it's going to fall flat and be just another stoner flick?
He's aware. He said he'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Well, Yorkie, what do you think?
I don't really know much about I don't really know anything about the thing in Silent Bob, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised you don't know anything about Dogma, Mallrats, Clerks 1 or 2, Zack and Miri. Like, you don't know any of Kevin Smith's work?
Nope.
By the way, that was a good list.
I did. Okay, I missed Chasing Amy. Yeah. But man, you got to look into it. That's some good set of movies.
I'll give it a look.
Chasing Amy, is that what you said?
That's an all right one. I was listening off the Kevin Smith movies because Yorkie doesn't know any of them. But MC, I had asked you, but you were away. Man, the whole premise is Jay and Silent Bob trying to stop the remake of Blunt Man and Chronic. For anybody who's on the internet and talks about pop culture like we do occasionally, reboots are the bane of our fucking existence. Isn't the premise of this movie fucking great? Even if you're not necessarily a Kevin Smith fan?
Okay, it has potential. At least it's relatively novel, not wholly creative, but it could be done well as a poke at the internals of Hollywood. And generally, those kinds of movies do fairly well. We'll have to wait and see how it turns out. But yeah, you're right. Nobody does like these reboots for the most part. I mean, a lot of people are upset with them.
Yeah, and I think Kevin Smith, well, in his own words, it's been a year since the Widowmaker heart attack that he barely survived. And what better way than to, do another Jay and Silent Bob and stick it to God, so to say, and do one more.
Hey, careful. I don't think Alanis Morissette like that.
Making comments like you want to quote unquote stick it to God are a good way to get a lightning bolt during the middle of filming.
Yeah, I know. Ask the cast from The Omen. They'll tell you.
I mean, you're just begging for something bad to happen to you at that point. Because karma's a bitch. One way or another, karma's a bitch.
But what's your beef with Kevin Smith's movies? I think they're great.
I think they're... what's my beef with them? I think they're juvenile.
Good. What do you mean?
They're juvenile.
No.
Hey. One-note jokes that only stoners laugh at, whose main focus is dick and fart jokes. Dude, who cares? Look at where we're headed, dude. We're headed for idiocracy at, like, an alarming rate. And, dude, you want to say those are childish? Getting offended about everything that's ever posted on the internet, that's childish. I mean, come on, at least Jay and Silent Bob have a target audience of, yes, stoners. Yes, we laugh at dick and fart jokes. I mean, come on now.
It's you haven't. You're just proving my point.
Well, I mean, it's not like
they're harshing the buzz, but my point still stands.
It's not like they're gonna have a donkey show on the movie. Oh, wait a minute.
What's wrong with donkeys?
There's a new Area 51 meme that I just saw.
Is it? Go on.
You have Lisa giving a presentation. Lisa Simpson giving a presentation. The presentation is Catholic priests should storm Area 51, so it'll be aliens versus predators.
Oh
dear.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And memes has arrived. Welcome, memes.
Yeah, memes. We're talking
terrible.
we're talking view askew here, man. So, Jay and Silent Bob 2, what do you think?
Let's fucking do it.
Yeah,
is it hold on, wait. Is it the same director?
The fuck was that?
Oh, the director. The person that, does the movie.
Yeah, Kevin Smith, the guy that doesn't ever talk in the movie.
How are they doing it? Are they doing a recreation? Are they just continuing on with the general universe storyline? Because let's not forget, they were also in Dogma.
This is the premise. Memes. All right, so Blunt Man and Chronic is being rebooted. Jay and Silent Bob must stop it. That's your premise. It's the first movie re-rolled.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So
So you're all for the movie.
I'm all right with it.
Now I want you to remember this. Say that again. You're all for this. You're all right with this, right, memes?
I never said I would be an investor.
And I'm not asking you to be an investor. I just want Mad Dodge to understand that he's siding with you.
That's fine.
I just want Mad Dodge to understand the ramifications of what he's doing.
MC is 2019. You've agreed with me at some points as well.
Can you think of a single instance where I've agreed with you?
Convention of States.
Oh, he got me. He got me. He's right. He's right. Yes, I do agree with that. We need a convention of states. I've been defeated by memes.
No, you scared the shit out of me the other day, and I'm like, it's not wrong.
Somehow I think I scared the shit out of a lot of people. I could be wrong about that, though.
Well, it's useful. It's like releasing a kaiju upon the world. It's like, why are you doing it? Is that a good idea? You just need to direct the chaos.
You're saying that I'm a kaiju?
Effectively on the internet, yes.
Now just imagine just a fucking drone the size of Mothra just bombing the Middle East.
Dude, between MC and Cabby, freaking dude, it's like Godzilla versus King Ghidorah.
All right, who is Ghidorah?
It's like Godzilla versus King Ghidorah.
Yeah, who's Ghidorah? Me or Cabbage?
Oh, it's open to interpretation, then I guess I'm not
Man,
specifying.
I want to be Ghidorah.
I'd say MC be more Ghidorah since is more destructive.
Godzilla did have some sad points in the movie, so Cabby would make a good Godzilla. It's like, I'm going here. Use a mechanical nuke. This is a good idea.
I mean, think about it. Ghidorah was going around everywhere with those lightning bolts. They went everywhere. Half the time they didn't even hit Godzilla. They're busy hitting other things.
Well, there's historical precedent. Ghidorah has fired many rays and many rays.
I would not have used historical precedent with
to be fair, the reason for that historical precedent is mostly because they may or may not have been using wires to adjust the heads and just flailing them around randomly. It worked. It's bound into the history of my mind.
And see what happens? We have now taken over Mad Dodge's stream successfully. Our job is complete.
Oh. You've been hanging out with Bollocks, haven't you? Because you seem to be becoming German.
I've been hanging out with Bollocks?
Oh, I thought you were doing a German accent.
Well, kind of, but that doesn't mean I'm hanging out with Bollocks. I do a lot of accents. Would you like me to do the Smurf accent?
Yes.
La 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 la. Papa Smurf!
MC, I'm going to find a soundboard plugin. And then we're going to conquer the internet.
You got to get one for Smurfette. I got the perfect story for Smurfette for tomorrow morning. For those who don't know, that Smurfette's my term for Tulsi Gabbard.
I thought that was AOC.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wouldn't be seen in such a plebeian thing as a Smurfs cartoon. I'm much too highbrow for that.
That may be the most terrible, insulting thing I've heard all month.
Oh, really?
Perhaps.
Send her back. Send her back. Am I getting closer?
Hawaii is a state. Oh my, dude! Is this what people are hung up on? It's like, oh, President Obama. It's like, is it because he's from Hawaii? It's because he's not from the mainland. Are we discriminating?
Where the hell did you come up with Obama?
Oh, he was from Hawaii, right?
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
So what does that have to do with anything?
You're sending Tulsi back home.
Send her back was a reference to the chant that was going on from the Trump rally.
Yeah.
That wasn't about Tulsi Gabbard, dude.
Oh.
Did you climb out from under a rock this morning or something? Did you miss this entire event?
Oh, wasn't that Ilhan Omar?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that racist?
How's it racist?
Send her back. Send her back. What?
I listened to that part of the rally, and see, the thing that actually terrifies me about that rally is at some points he was losing the crowd. They were cheering for certain things that I don't think he wanted them to, and I think he felt he was losing control of the crowd a little bit. At that part, you go from a crowd, and I don't know how many degrees of separation is that from a mob.
Well, okay.
I didn't watch the rally. I heard it, and my mind went to the worst possible situation. I'm like, because Trump is pretty good in front of a crowd. He does well. He did learn from Vince.
Oh no. There are. The thing is, okay. I think I'll just save this for tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I'll express my view on this because I'd rather save it. I'd rather save it because it's okay. Never mind. I'll do it right now. Look, whether you like this or not, whether the leftists like Tim Pool understand this or not, okay. Trump is a populist president. He's a populist candidate. He is not one of the mainstream candidates. He is not a mainstream Republican. The Republican Party, okay, lost its base. Its base rebelled against the standard bearers of the party. That's how Trump won. That's who Trump is. But it is a populist base. And they had been fed up with people who didn't defend what they believed needed to be defending, not the least of which is the country. The problem with populists or a populist candidate is they're not in control. Okay? It is a kind of mob-like, to an extent, a mob-like mentality. And I don't think that Trump rode that wave. Trump rode because he became the person that would identify saying, yeah, I'm one of you. I will fight for the things that you think need to be fought for. And people have put him on that pedestal. But he is only there because the populists, all right, are basically the ones in charge right now of that movement. And it hasn't diminished in the Republican Party yet. There's still a lot of things there's still a lot of shaking out and falling out that's going to be happening on the Republican Party. Everyone keeps focusing on all the dysfunction within the Democrat Party. And I'm not saying that there isn't dysfunction in the Democrat Party, but the reality is the standard bearers of the conservative within the Republican Party machine apparatchik, right? They're not in control of this movement, and they're not in control of Trump. But what's more is they're not in control of Trump's supporters either. Even Trump isn't in control of his supporters. It's a true populist movement. And I think Trump, he wasn't expecting that chant, send her back, send her back. He wasn't. But that doesn't mean that, what he's going to say about it. He's like, look, I don't think they necessarily should have said it, but hey, he's made a mistake kind of a little bit in telling them to tamp it down, because they're not going to tamp it down. That ship sailed, dude. You're seeing a true populist reaction in the country.
So now that I'm terrified even more.
Yeah, you should be terrified, because that's not necessarily a good thing. A populist uprising is an uprising of democracy, and democracy is three wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner.
So how do we make a better meal?
No, what do you mean, how do you make a better meal?
Well, if it's three sheep and a wolf deciding on what's for dinner, then
yeah, but that's not. It's populism is not necessarily a bad thing. It's an expression of the people's will. Okay, I'm not as negative on it from that standpoint. I don't believe in straight democracy. I do believe that things have to be a republic. I do agree with you there, Mad Dodge. But at the same time, the idea that it's necessarily bad, especially in this case. In this case, the reason it happened was simply because their elected representatives stopped listening to them for too long, and they got fed up with it, and they found somebody that they could sit up there and support going forward. The problem, though, is now is you have something similar taking place on the opposite scale, all right, within the Democrat Party. But the Democrat Party had always walked around saying they were the populists. You got to understand this. It was always their mantra that they were the populists. They were the ones that were in, the ones that were representing the average Joe or the average people. That's what they had sold.
Well, the thing is, it can definitely go both ways, and depends on the circumstance. And the thing is with President Trump, it's like, well, you live by the meme, you die by the meme. It's just you embrace lock her up and everything, and just encouraging that blatantly. It's like, all right, that's a great thing. And again, to be fair, he did try to tamp it down. He's like, no, we don't actually want to do that. And he offered a deal. A deal was offered. I do remember that. And yeah, we are where we are right now.
Yeah, what happened when he offered the deal?
I believe Secretary Clinton was disinclined to acquiesce to his request.
Of course she was, because they don't believe that they needed to do it. And see, and what does that do? That gives more emphasis, right? And fuels, all right, that populist movement that put Trump in power.
It was a slap on the wrist. We done fucked up. Okay, go on with your life.
But that's not how it turned out, was it?
It was not.
And in fact, what happened is that they doubled down, and it's like, okay, we're going to double down back. This is why you're dealing with this whole crap about Omar. Omar is a reaction. To be honest, who is Ilhan Omar? Ilhan Omar is the leftist saying, "Ha, we're going to sit up there and ram it down your throat." And there is no stopping them, because the press is terrified of the populists on the right. And I point this out not because in Trump is the embodiment of where we have gotten, but Trump was not the person who brought it out. Trump was not the person who created it. To be honest, the people who created this, all right, are the Mitch McConnells, all right, the John Boehners, the Ryans, all right, within the Republican Party that refused, all right, to listen to their base, the conservative base. The conservative base came out in mass in 2010 and literally ripped the House away from the Democrats. People forget this.
Wasn't like
the turnover in 2010 was massive.
Well, no, and you wanted to talk a little bit about Rand Paul and voting against the 9/11 bill as well. So I'm guessing that'll probably be our last story.
The 9/11 bill?
Well, the 9/11, the first responders bill.
Yeah.
What is it? What is that bill?
Oh, it's like health coverage for the first responders that got sick after going to rescue folks at 9/11.
Oh, right.
Well, yeah, no, it's not, but that's another lie.
That's the general mimetic of what was taken away. Is that not the general consensus of what many people are saying?
You are correct. That's what a lot of people believe because
the
they're being lied to.
Different. Okay.
It's just like they're being lied to about the immigration. The immigration. Trump is halting all asylum, people to the United States. No, he's not.
No. If they've touched another country first, then they just follow.
Basically, he's applying the UN rules, which everybody agrees with. That these were the rules, including the United States. We signed off on that rule.
Wait a second. Are people unhappy that the president is following the United Nations charter or whatever
standard on this rule? Yeah, they're very upset about it.
Okay.
Just ask little Timmy boy.
Is it because he's selectively using the United Nations charter?
Isn't that what everybody does?
Yeah, that is what everybody does.
What? So no, everybody only uses the rules when it's advantageous to them.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Does that explain a lot?
It is an explanation of a lot of where we're at. Yeah, to an extent.
Is that not more of a lazy way to do things?
Okay, and
actually, I think that takes more effort than following all the rules because you have to actually read them to pick them. I mean, so no, I disagree. It's not the lazy way.
To be fair, Sargon actually cited something from the United Nations. It was like Section 19 within one of the codes, but it's like under like the codes of human rights. It's like number 19 is no person's freedom of speech or expression shall be infringed on like the internet.
Oh,
To be fair, actually, MC, you're gonna hate this, but if you wanted to challenge a lot of these different larger platforms, you could cite United Nations.
I don't recognize the United Nations Charter over U.S. currency. I never have.
I realize, but have other people.
Other people try to apply it to us, yeah. I've flat out rejected them before.
No, is it a bad idea? Is it a bad
Not usually the executive branch. The president usually takes a hard line towards United States sovereignty, and that goes Democrat or Republican.
What I'm saying is, if arguments had been made, and there were other arguments to support those arguments, of course, and the Supreme Court ruled in that way, do you really think President Trump would be against it?
I think the president will do what's in the United States' best interest as far as he is concerned. Do I think that'll be the correct thing to do? Not necessarily. Once again, I didn't vote for him. Probably won't vote for him this time around. Probably won't. I don't necessarily think Trump is a Republican. I think he is a Democrat and always has been. He is a New York Democrat.
Can I call you Tim Pool now?
Put the little orange-headed beanie on him. The little two-tone beanie.
No, you want people to be able to see you.
He has to trade in the Confederate cap for the little beanie.
Wait a minute here. Memes, you're calling me Tim Pool?
Well, aren't you in the great Northwest? Do you not have a Tim lurking outside your house?
You leave my mountain lion out of this.
I mean, think about it. He's actually giving you a compliment. He's expecting you to grow your channel to 300,000 to 400,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
I better buy that beanie. I better get on.
Well, no. Riddle me this, Matt. Riddle me this. Let's say you actually wanted to do it. Would you be willing to do some on-the-ground journalism?
Would I be willing to go to Portland and get my ass kicked? Not really.
Why? Why would you get your ass kicked?
Have you met me?
Can you? Were you not the dude at a woman's night bowling thing that was arguing about abortion?
It was karaoke, and yes, and they did not riot. I talked my way out of that.
Okay. Are you saying you've lost your gift?
No, I'm saying the people in Portland are fucking insane.
Well, why would they come for you?
Why did they attack anybody? Have you seen these fucking idiots? Am I the only one watching these videos?
Did you see the entire scene at what can happen when you have large groups of large people?
Did you see the firebombing from the Antifa?
So, that dude that got shot.
Yeah, after he was throwing Molotov cocktails and tried to throw it at a propane tank.
Oh, dude,
if it would have went off, would have killed all sorts of migrants.
Oh no, it was an attack on a U.S. military facility.
How is that a military facility?
Oh wait, which one? Oh, ICE. Oh, Federal Department facility. Sorry. I thought there may have been an association there. My apologies.
If he'd have hit that tank, he'd have killed a lot of the supposed migrants he was trying to free, right?
Well, it probably would have been a heating tank and stuff to help keep people warm. So how far would the gas lines be in there? It probably wouldn't be right next to the dormitory.
It's a propane tank. Are you going to say that a propane tank exploding is not going to do damage?
Oh, no, it's going to do a shit ton of damage. I'm just saying that hopefully they moved it farther away.
You don't just pick up a freaking propane tank and move it. Memes?
MC, there are pipe layers and stuff. We got a lot of skilled people. Maybe we need more.
Memes.
I don't want to play through my mind what could have happened if that was the case.
Memes, I just do not understand you. I just don't understand why you can't just accept what you're dealing with. Who these people are, who they've always been.
Okay. That's your opinion.
It's not my opinion, it's what they've done.
Okay. I understand.
I have you can say it's my opinion. You can also sit up there and say, yeah, it's my opinion based on these are the facts.
If one just goes in off the bat and just tries to condemn off of only that, I mean, are you giving a fair shake?
Only that means?
Yeah.
How many of these do you need?
Okay.
I asked a very specific question. How many types of these types of actions do you need before you start to actually admit who these people always have been?
So have these actions been taken directly against me while I am actively involved?
Have they been taken against you? So in other words, if it doesn't happen to you, it doesn't exist.
Oh no, everything exists.
The Smurf tune. La, 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 la,
That was a great show. Gargamel was
As long as Gargamel is chewing on a different Smurf village, it's fine. The Smurf village down the street, not a problem.
Was
it's
there
only
more?
Our Smurf village that we got to worry about. It's only our Smurfette that we have to deal with.
No, I thought there was only one. I thought it was like a Smurf no snake.
All right. Well, where the hell did a Smurfette come from?
Oh, the world may never know. Oh, God.
Well,
But I don't care about where Smurfette came from, dude. Really don't. Memes. Anything you want to talk about? You haven't been around for a while. If not, then I think we are approaching the end, folks.
I'm good, man. You can wrap it up.
Quick thing, Dodge. Whenever I do come over to America, we need to meet up and go to Portland.
Yeah, you're gonna get me killed. That'll be fun.
You haven't tried it yet, right?
Yeah. Well, I haven't tried that. You're right.
Well, with the game, it's the other way around.
To be fair, I suggested the same thing, minus trying to get himself killed. I was basically offering him potential employment for doing, well, not employment, but contract work.
But
what happens if you get paid to get a news story?
You're gonna pay me? I'll go up there and get you.
I never said I would pay you.
Well, then there's no guarantee pay.
No. Other people may pay you. What if it was crowdsourced?
But no, everybody, thank you for coming out. I appreciate it. We'll try and be back tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Good night, good luck, and don't go to France. Are those Yellow Vest protests still going on?
Yes.
Or did they finally end? They're still going. Damn, that's got to be a world's record or something.
RT and Subverse are covering it.
Yeah, way to go, Yellow Vests. We're out of here. Good night.